Okay, so we will continue with the microprogram sequencing. Last class we had a revision of what you have studied in this chapter, and we will continue with that. So we'll continue with the microprogram sequencing, and this diagram will come in reference everywhere whenever I'm talking about microprogram sequencing, because this is the backbone of the microprogrammed control unit. So here the data path design, we have seen this set of registers. So the difference comes here in the control path design or the control unit design. Whether it is a hardwired control or a microprogrammed control unit, every difference comes here in the control logic design. So in hardwired control, we have already seen that the sequence in which the control signals, whether it is MAR in, MDR in, out, etc., all those in-out control signals are generated using some specific hardware circuits. Whereas in case of microprogrammed control unit, you convert each instruction into a microprogram. So in order to execute each instruction, you execute a series of micro instruction, where each micro instruction is executed in one clock cycle. So for that, we have that micro instruction is also referred to as control word, which is having a stream of zeros and ones. And the place where you store those control words is called as the control store. Okay, since the execution of micro instruction is very much similar to the way you are executing a normal instruction, I thought before we jump into the deeper end of this, we will draw some equivalence between the normal instruction flow and the micro instruction flow, how they are executed, so that you will be able to easily understand the concept behind micro instruction execution, so that given any instruction, you will be able to write the micro instruction on your own, because ultimately that is the aim of this. So we will try to understand the commonality between normal instruction execution and micro instruction. So you take any instruction, the machine level instructions or the assembly language instructions, they are stored in a memory called program memory, isn't it? All the instructions are stored in instruction memory or program memory. So similarly here also, so you have to draw the similarity between a big program and a micro program. A micro program is dedicated for one instruction. It's as if you're splitting that single instruction into a series of smaller instructions. So here the micro instructions will be stored in a memory called the control store. In order to easily remember it, I am calling it as micro program memory, or the specific term given in your textbook is the control store. Now, the instructions, another feature of the program of the normal instructions is the instructions are stored in consecutive address locations in your program memory. Similarly, here also the micro instructions are stored in consecutive address locations. So if you want to execute add instruction, add R1, R2, all the micro instructions associated with the add R1, R2 will be stored in consecutive address locations. That's what it means. Now, the register which keeps track of the address location of the next instruction to be executed is your program counter. Similar counterpart, the address this register stores the address location of next micro instruction to be executed, and here you call it as a mu PC. Okay, I hope so far you can draw the similarity between how you're running a big program and how you're running a micro program. Micro program intention is to generate the control signals in a predefined manner. So it's like a choreographed dance. Each signal has to be activated at a particular clock cycle, and this micro program will help you do that. Okay, with the help of control words. So here onwards, we will be using one particular instruction as an example, and throughout the end of this chapter, we will be using the same instruction. With the same instruction, we will be learning various concepts. So that is add R source, R destination, where R source, this is your source operand, this is your destination operand, this is the type of instruction. I'm discussing only about the add instruction. I'm not concerned about any other, because if it is applicable for this, it's similarly you can extend it to any other instruction. Now, here this in this particular computer that we are going to design, we can fix that the destination is always a destination register, whether it is R1, R2, R3, etc. Whatever you are adding, the source register and the destination register, the result will be stored in this destination register itself. That means the destination register is directly specified. Now, the source register, source operand can be specified in direct or in indirect mode. So there are various different types of addressing modes possible for the simple instruction add r source comma r destination. And this address mode is specified. AM here stands for addressing mode. Addressing mode is specified based on how you are deriving your source operand. Okay. If now you can also fill in if the instruction is add r1 comma r2, where r1 is directly specified, r1 contains the data to be added. If it's directly given to you, what type of addressing mode is it? Can anybody tell me the answer? What type of addressing mode it would be? Somebody please speak up. What type of addressing mode it would be? Do you guys know addressing modes? It's important for this section. That's why.
Direct and indirect.
Yeah, direct or indirect. For the particular example that I gave, what would be that addressing mode? What is that called?
The direct.
It's called register direct, isn't it? The register gives you the value of the operand directly. Okay. Now there is an auto increment addressing mode. Can anybody tell me what is auto increment addressing mode? Anybody knows? So R1 is given in brackets. What does that mean?
Ma'am, after the execution of the current instruction, the address for the next instruction will be incremented.
Address for the, you're half correct, half it's something way. Okay, we will break it down into smaller counterparts so that it's easy for you to understand. I have started with the assumption that you guys already know what addressing modes, different types of addressing modes are. Am I right or wrong? Have you heard of addressing modes at least?
Yes, ma'am. In embedded IoT course, I think.
Okay, as a part of CSA, you have not studied addressing modes.
Not yet. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine, no problem. Okay, so at least you guys have an idea what addressing mode. Addressing mode always means where you are getting the operands from. If the value is directly present in a register, you call it as the register direct addressing mode. So there will be just small changes in the names. Otherwise, the basic concept behind addressing mode is same throughout any computer, microcontroller, anything you take. So in auto increment addressing mode, whenever the register is specified within a bracket, it means that the register contains the address value. Okay, if you guys don't know this, please note it down because this concept is very important to understand this coming sections. And if you understand this, coming sections will be very easy breezy for you. Okay, so please note it down because everything is very much linked. In the coming 2-3 slides, I'll be explaining a lot of concepts which are distributed in 5-3 pages in your textbook. So I have consolidated it. If you just note it down, it will be really helpful for you. So so if it is present if it is given within the brackets, add R1, if the register is provided within the brackets, it means that the register contains the address. Okay, address of the operand, and you have to go to that address to get the value, add it to R2, and the content of R1 will be incremented so that it points to the next address location wherein you can get the next data. So this is mainly used in case of when you're having the loop kind of programs wherein you can have some looping instructions and all those things. There this auto increment can be used. I hope it is clear. If R1 is put in bracket, it means that it is the address location which is present in R1. And in order to get the value to be added, you have to go to that address location. Once you get that value from that address location, you increment the address which is there in R1. R1 contains the address. You increment R1 by 4. In this case, it's incremented by 4. Auto decrement is just the opposite. It decrements the value. It fetches the R1 contains the address location of the value which is to be added. After fetching that value, you increment the content of R1 register. That means it points to the next address location now. Now there is indexed addressing mode also, where the actual address you will get by adding some index value. This will be some offset. It can be offset also, where the offset value is added to the register content that gives you the address. Remember here also the bracket is given. It means that R1 contains the address. So the offset value is added to address, or index value is added to R1. That will give you the equivalent address from where you have to go and access the data. Okay. So these are the different types of addressing modes possible in the computer that we are going to design. These are the possible addressing modes for the source operand. Okay, different ways in which you can get the source operand, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is of course only the direct way. Similarly, you have the indirect counterpart also for this. Here, register contains the data directly. So if it is indirect, register will contain the address. From that address, you can get the data. So that becomes register indirect. Similarly, you have auto increment direct. Auto increment direct is what is written here. Auto increment indirect is also there. Similarly, auto decrement indirect is there. Indexed indirect is also there. We will look at this auto increment, decrement, direct and indirect in detail as and when it comes. Okay. So at least if you understand the basic, the direct form of these 4 addressing modes, that is sufficient for the time being. Okay, so now in order to execute this microprogram sequencing, we have 2 important registers for us to understand what is the content of these registers. First one is instruction register, which we already know. Instruction register stores the instruction to be executed. And this is MuPC, which is the counterpart of your PC. So this will store the address location of micro instruction to be executed, which is MuPC. So we will decode what is present inside this instruction register and MuPC. We will try to understand that first. So instruction register, I have divided it into different sections. The opcode depends on what type of instruction it is. So here we are going to discuss about the add instruction throughout here. So opcode will be, it could be anything. It could be any number of bits depending on how many types of instructions your computer can take in. So depending on that, the size of the opcode field can be decided. Then mode is the one which defines which addressing mode is it. If it is add instruction, in add, again we had seen 4 possible ways of add instruction, isn't it? Out of those 4 possible, again there is direct and indirect. Which one is it? In order to understand that, the mode field is used. Then source register field, destination register field. Now assume that you have 16 general purpose registers. So how many bits will this RDST require? Can you tell me quickly, how many bits will this RDST need? If you want to specify a destination register, there are 16 possible destination registers. So using how many bits can you specify which destination register is it?
4 bits.
4 bits, very good. With using 4 bits, you can generate 16 possible combinations. So bit number 0, 1, 2, and 3. So these 4 bits will be used to specify the destination register. Similarly, next 4 bits will be used to specify the source register. 4, 5, 6, 7. Bits number 4 to 7. 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. 4 bits will be used to specify the source register. Now, source register can contain the data directly or indirectly. It could contain the address depending on various addressing modes. So in order to specify which type of addressing mode is it, whether it is registered direct, auto increment, auto decrement, or index, direct or indirect form, we have reserved 8 bits here. 3 bits starting from bit 8, 9, and 10. So bit number 8, 9 and 10 are important to understand which type of addressing mode it is. It is very important. Please note it down. So this is how we have split it. Bit number 8, the bit position 8 indicates whether the addressing mode is direct or indirect. If it is 0, it indicates that it is direct. If it is 1, it indicates it is indirect. Now bit number 9 and 10 indicates which type of addressing mode it is. So if it is 0, 0, it is register. And if the third bit here, the 8th bit will indicate whether it is registered direct or registered indirect. Similarly, 0, 1 stand for auto increment, 0, 1, 0 stands for auto decrement, 1, 1 stands for index addressing mode. Please note it down. Otherwise, you have to dig into your textbook to understand this encoding. If you note it down, it will be easy for you. Shall I proceed?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, now looking at micro program counter. So here in this particular example for the computer that you're going to design, in that we have a 9-bit program counter, micro program counter. So since it's 9 bits, it can be easily represented in octal. So octal, I hope you guys already remember that a group of 3 bits will be grouped together and represented using an octal digit starting from 000 to 111. So all together 8 possible combinations will be there, which can be represented from 0 to 7. Okay, so this is how this mu PC is grouped. This is the LSB 3 bits. LSB 3 bits 0, 1, 2, then 3, 4, 5, then 6, 7 and 8. These are the 9 bits. So since it's an add instruction that we are going to discuss here, first 3 bits and the last 3 bits are fixed, 001, 001. It indicates that it is an add instruction. Note it down. 001, and these 3 bits we have not come to this bit bit 3, 4, 5. Bit position 0, 1, 2 and 6, 7, 8 are fixed. They are having a value 001, 001. Okay, for add instruction. Note it down, for add instruction. Okay, it will become clear why is it so, why the middle bits are not specified now. It will become clear in just few seconds. It will become clear. Okay, just note it down for the time being. Okay, now before we enter into the other bit combinations of the rest of these 3 bits, you need to understand the significance of mu PC. Mu PC gives you the address location of the next micro instruction to be executed, isn't it? That is what mu PC specifies, the address location of the next micro instruction to be executed. Now, if you take any micro instruction, you have been writing micro instructions for a lot of different types of instructions, isn't it? Accessing from memory or direct operations or branch operations, etc. You have been writing the micro instructions so long, and in the revision also it was quite clear. You know it correctly. So you might have observed that the first 3 micro instructions are common for any type of micro program, whether it is add, subtract, direct, indirect, no matter what, first 3 instructions are common, isn't it? So what you can do is, you need not replicate those 3 instructions for those 3 micro instructions. No matter what type of instruction you're going to execute, you need not replicate those 3 everywhere. Suppose if you're going to execute an add instruction and later on you're going to execute a multiply instruction, you need not replicate those 3 bits everywhere. So if it is common, you write it commonly somewhere so that the instruction execution would start from there. Then after completing the execution of those first 3 instructions, then you can check. If it is add, you can jump to some other location. If it is subtract, you can jump to some other location and so on. Okay. So first 3 instructions are common no matter what instruction you are going to execute. First 3 micro instructions would be common. And if it is add instruction, that is why in your mu PC, if it is add instruction, it has to jump to a particular location which is exclusive for add. Okay, that is specified by this 001 and 001. So this is exclusive for add instructions. All the instructions related to add, whether it is register direct, indirect, auto increment, decrement, anything, would start from 001 XXX 001. Okay, till this, is it clear to all of you? Now, based on whether this is registered direct, you decide these 3 bits. If it is registered direct, it should be some specific values in these 3 bits. If it is registered indirect, some other values should be there in these 3 bits, so that you are jumping to different locations based on whether it is registered direct, indirect, auto increment direct, indirect, etc. Okay. Till this, is it clear? I'll tell you how you get those instructions now. Till this, is it clear? If anybody who is having any doubt, you can tell me. I can explain it once more. Anybody?
No, ma'am.
Anybody is having any doubt? Okay, I'll explain this, how to get these bits 3, 4, and 5 of MuPC. Okay, then maybe it will become more clear to you. So these 2 bits, bit 5 and bit 4 of MuPC is directly taken from instruction register bit 10 and 9. Okay, bit 10 and 9 is directly mapped here, and MuPC third bit, MuPC 3, is derived by computing this IR10 bar dot IR9 bar dot IR8. Okay, this gives you a particular address location. So if it is registered direct, can you tell me what will be the jumping address location to? First 3 instructions are common. After that, you have to jump to a particular address location to start executing add if it is registered direct. So you guys can sit and compute what would be the address location if it is registered direct. So first 3 bits are common. You can give me the octal address. So first 1 and 1 is fixed. What is the middle bit? What will be the middle number? 001 in octal, it registered direct is 00. Sorry, this is 0. Sorry, this is 0. Yes, 0. And what about MuPC3?
0.
0. Very good. IR10 bar, IR9 bar, IR8. Okay, it is direct, so this is 0. So no matter what this combination is, this is going to be 0. So what will be the jumping address location for executing add if it is registered direct instruction? It would be 101. Is it clear to all of you? I hope it would be clear. Anybody is having any doubt? If you want me to explain it once more, please, you can raise your hands if anybody wants me to explain it once more. Because this is very important. If you are clear with this, next section will be very easy for you. Okay, I don't see any raise of hands, so I'm assuming that it is clear. Okay. So we will move on to the how to write the micro instruction. Okay, how to write the micro instruction in the control store, in which all address locations each micro instruction would be written. That is what we are going to see. So I said that the first 3 steps are common for any instruction. So you take common address locations to store those 3 micro instructions. I hope you already remember the micro instructions. PC out, MAR in, etc. Okay. So the first one, Can anybody tell me what is this one? These 3 0 0 0. What does that indicate? If you understood the concept, you should be able to tell it. What does the 0 0 0 mean?
Register direct.
No. What is the 0 0 0?
Value in micro PC.
Value of
Mu PC.
mu PC. Very good. This is the content of mu PC, isn't it? This is what we had seen here. So mu PC, it is represented in octal number. So the range would start from the address space for mu PC would start from 0002 to, who can tell? It is octal. So 0002. If it is in octal, 0002. What would be the last number?
777.
Yes, 777. This is the address space for you. And each location, the 000 indicates an address location in your mu PC. And in this address location, you can store your, the control word will be stored in this address location. In this address location, the control word will be stored. The size of the control word is decided based on whether it is horizontal or vertical encoding. We had seen that in the last class. Okay. So each control signal like MAR in, MDR out in, etc. will be having a dedicated bit here. So that decides the size of the control word. So each address location here stores a control word. And this is what I said. The first 3 instructions, since they are common, you store it commonly in the first 3 address locations 000, 001 and 002. In 001, 000, 001, 002, you store the first 3 instructions, which is common for micro instructions, which are common for any type of instruction you take. Now, is it clear to all of you? So what does this 000 mean here? This is the content of which register? Which register? Come on, guys.
Mu PC.
Mu PC. Very good. This is the content of your mu PC. Okay. So in 000, you write your first micro instruction, PC out, MAR in, read, select for, add, Z in. Then in 001, you'll be writing Z out, PC in, Y in, WMFC. In 002, you'll be writing MDR out, IR in. Can you note down these things? Because it's important you write the micro instructions corresponding to add, source, comma, destination. Can you please note it down? Always make a habit of writing. Otherwise, for Viva, you may not be able to do it. So first 3 address locations are common. Can anybody tell me what should be there in the next address location? Now we are going to execute. I will start with the first example, add R1. Example that we are going to take is add R1, R2. Add R1, R2. So by looking at the instruction itself, you should be able to understand what addressing mode it is. Which addressing mode? This is which addressing mode?
Direct.
Register direct. Always keep the habit. Direct can be anything because you have a lot of things which has direct and indirect counterpart. So this is register direct addressing mode. So R1 contains the operand. R2 contains the operand, add them, store the result in R2. Okay, so first 3 instruction is common, no matter if it is add, direct, whatever it is, first 3 are common. Then we have to jump to which address location so that we can execute the register direct operation for add instruction. First, we need to understand that this is add. For add, a particular address is there, and for which type of add, Only after getting those two information, we can finally decide to which address location you have to jump to. Now, just now we had seen to which address location we have to jump to if it is a registered direct addressing mode for add instruction. What was that? Just now we had seen the address value to which we have to jump if we have to execute add in registered direct addressing mode.
101.
Very good. Any doubt if anybody is having? Look at this. This 1 and 1. These two octal values are fixed. These three you derive based on. These two are fixed for add instruction. Okay. So 1x1. This is fixed for add instruction. Then based on what type of addressing mode you derive from the 10th, 9th and 8th bit of your instruction register, you derive the middle 3 bits of your MUPC. Since it is registered direct, you substitute the values here, you will get 0. So this will be 0, 0, 0. So the final address is 101 if it is add registered direct. Okay, so that is where we have arrived at. So here we have to jump to address location 101. Now we have to jump to address location 101. Now who will tell the computer to jump to address location 101? Who will tell the computer to jump? If it was hardwired, you can have an instruction. You can have, I gave the answer. If it is a hardware, you can have a circuit there. But if it is micro instruction based control unit, what will you have in place of that? If it is hardwired, for jumping, you can have a circuit there. So if it is micro programmed based control unit, instead of hardwired circuits, what do we have?
Branch.
It is closer. Yes, you're actually correct. It should be a branch instruction. Now we are talking about micro instructions here. So it should be a micro branching instruction. Okay. So always relate it, compare and contrast between various modalities available. So if it is hardwired, you are dedicating a circuit for that. So if it is micro programmed based, you will have an instruction in place of that. And here we call it as micro instruction. So you will be having a micro branching instruction. And that you will store in this address location 003. So after executing the first 3 micro instructions, next address location 003 will always have the micro branching. So that decides based on which instruction where to branch to. Okay, that is what micro branches. Now, how do you realize that micro branching? You call that operation as bit ORing. Bit OR. Bit OR operation. I hope you can read it. It is called bit OR ORing operation. Okay. Now, how do you realize this micro branch? So, if it is add instruction, by looking at this, coming back here, by looking at the opcode bits, you can identify that this is the add instruction. If it is add instruction, 1 and these bits are not known, and 1 should be stored into MUPC, and the rest of the 3 bits can be decided by the mode bits of your instruction register. Okay, so coming here, so how do we realize this micro branching? Since it is add operation, so first you load the MUPC. I'll write it here so that you can copy it if you want. You will load the MUPC with 101 first because it is add operation. In this example, in this chapter, we will be concerned about only add instruction. So first load MUPC with add. Then what? You have to modify which 3 bits of MUPC? Bits 3, 4 and 5. These 3 bits you have to modify. Bit 5 is same as IR10. bit 4 is same as IR9 and bit 3 will be IR10 bar, IR9 bar, IR8. So those three values should be loaded into mu-PC. Okay, so when you write it like this, mu-PC 3, 4, 5. 5 will be equal to IR10. Then you can also write it along with me. Then mu-PC 5, 4. 4 is what? It is IR9. Then mu-PC 3 is IR10 bar. IR9 bar. Okay, this is what will be the content of the address location 003. Is it clear to all of you? Any doubt? Have you understood why we are loading 101 first and then modifying the middle 3 bits? Since it's registered direct, it will be 101 itself. If it is registered indirect, after executing these steps, the address would get changed. It would get modified. Please understand that here we are not loading 101 because it is registered direct. Even if it is registered direct, indirect or anything, this one and this one is fixed. Okay, so as a common factor, we are loading 101 first, then we can set any one of these bits as per the change based on what type of addressing mode it is. Is it clear? Now, can you try and write what will be the value content of, now since we're talking about registered direct, after executing this, we will jump to the address location 101. So what will be the content of 101? Please try it out. I'll give you a few minutes. Please try it out. What will be the content of 101? Can anybody tell me what will be the content of 101? We are going to start executing the instruction from 101 instruction. So instruction fetch is over. So we have understood that this is add instruction, register direct addressing mode. So now you have to read the operands. So what will be the content of 101? Can somebody tell me?
R source out, R
Yes.
destination out, add and then R destination.
One small problem. If you have written it somewhere, can you just read it out? You have two out statements written in one clock cycle. Is it possible?
Yes, ma'am. Only one in should be there in a cycle, but we can have.
No. What do you mean by out? Out means you are reading it and putting it into the bus. At a time, the bus can have only one value, isn't it? So always one out and multiple ins can be possible. Out means you are reading from the register, putting it into the bus.
Okay.
Okay, done. Others also, if there is any slight confusion, clear it now itself. Only one out is possible in one clock cycle because we are discussing about single bus architecture. If it's multiple bus, depending on as many buses you have, you can have multiple out statements. Okay, so who is going to give me the final answer? What will be there in address location 101?
R source out Y in.
R source out, Y in. Very good, very good. Then you move to the next address location. Next address location. So that would be 10. All the micro instructions are stored in consecutive address locations. So the next instruction should be stored in address location 102. Okay. So address location 102. What will be there in 102? You have to note it down. It's not there in your textbook. You have to note it down. So we are talking about our source out, then Y in. You are reading it, putting it in Y. Okay. Then once you have read that, what should you do? Then what?
Destination out, add, then Z in.
Yes. Yes, very good. Destination out, or destination out. When you do it, you have to remember this diagram. You have to remember this diagram. Where is it? Where is it? Yes, you have to remember this diagram. So first operand you have read and you have put it in Y. Okay. Second operand, as soon as you read it, it will be available as the B operand. Now second operand, as soon as you read, you can activate the add operation and Z in. You can store the result in the Z register. So Z in should be activated. Okay. So second one should be our destination out, add, or select Y should be there. Select Y, add, Z in. That should be stored in which address location? 102.
BC. Okay.
Then in the next address location, what will you store? You have done the addition. Result is there waiting in your Z register. What should you do? Read it from Z, put it in destination
Program.
register. So Z out and Z out. Then what?
R destination in end.
Very good. Very good. Exactly. Our destination out. Sorry, Z out, our destination in end. Is it clear to everyone? Can I have a raise of hand if anybody is not able to follow? Anybody wants me to repeat this once more? That also I can do. Just raise your hand. Okay. So we had seen the micro routine, micro program for add R1, R2, which is addition instruction in registered direct addressing mode. So here, whenever you're asked to write a micro program, always specify the MuPC address location. So MuPC, so since first three instructions are common, you put them in 000, 001, 002. Okay. Next instruction onwards, it's dependent on what type of instruction you are going to execute. So since it's add instruction, The first octal number and the last octal number is fixed at 1 and 1. So first you load 101 to mu PC. Then, yes. Then based on the addressing mode, you manipulate the bit 5, bit 4 and bit 3 of mu PC so that you will get the branching address. Since it is registered direct, here we found out that the branching address is 101. So 101 will, in 101, you will write the next instruction exclusive for add in registered direct addressing mode. Okay. So that would be, you have to read the operand, first operand, put it in Y. Then what? You read the second operand, do the addition operation. Result will be there in Z. You read from Z, put it in the destination register, end it. That is what your address content 102, 103 will be there. Now, if you have written it in your notebook, strike out these two address locations. These are not correct. We will see shortly why. Okay. Can you do this much? If you have already written it in your notebook, the address locations 102 and 103, logically it should be, but we have even a simplified version. So where the address location for the rest two instructions won't be 102 and 103. Okay, so please note it there. In order for you to understand the concept only, I just gave you the address values 102 and 103. Just strike it, write it as there will be a change. Okay. Now, moving on to the next type of addressing mode. What is this? Which addressing mode? Source is written in brackets. So which type of addressing mode? Which type of addressing mode? You should be able to tell that. Can anybody tell me what type of addressing mode is this?
Auto increment, sorry.
For
Indirect
auto, there will be a plus sign.
Indirect.
Which indirect? Which indirect addressing mode? For everything, for register, auto increment, auto decrement, indexed, there is direct and indirect. Okay. So what addressing mode is this?
Register indirect.
Very good. It is register indirect addressing mode. Wherever you see a bracket, it means that it contains only the address value. So if address value is provided, you have to access it from the register content, then you call it as, sorry. This is register indirect addressing mode. Directly derived, you can understand it by looking at this, the way the instruction is written. So here also, first three instructions will be common. How will you write? Sorry, how will you write? How will you write the instruction in 003? Start writing 003. What will you write? It should be mu branch, the micro branching instruction. For that, what should you load in mu PC first? Mu PC will be first loaded with mu PC will be first loaded with what? Same as your previous one. Since it's add, the first three bits and the last three bits are fixed at 001, 001. So first you load 101 into mu PC. Then you decide what should be the actual value for this middle number. Should it be 0? Should it be 1? Is decided after that. Okay. Now if it is register indirect addressing mode, what will be the address, final destination address for this mu branch? Can somebody calculate and tell me? You can refer this diagram if you want. What will be the jumping address location?
111.
Very good. So if it is register indirect, since it's register, here these two bits will be 0 and 0 only. Then The third bit is IR 10 bar, IR 9 bar, IR 8, which is nothing but 1. So here also you'll get 0, 0, 1. So final jumping address would be 1, 1, 1. So what will you load in MuPC 3, 4, and 5? Please complete this micro branching instruction. Please complete the micro branching instruction. MuPC is first loaded with 101. No matter what type of add instruction it is, MuPC will be first loaded with 101. Keep that in mind. Then only you decide what should be the value of MuPC 5, 4, and 3. So the mu branch instruction would look similar for any type of add instruction. The micro branch instruction would look the similar, but the next address location to which you are jumping would be different. So for register direct, you were jumping to 101, but for register indirect, you will be jumping to, after computing the value of MuPC 5, 4, and 3, you will get that it is 001. So final jumping address would be 1, 1, 1. And in 111, what instruction should be written? What instruction should be written in address location 111? Remember, it is register indirect. So your source is giving you the address. You have to go to that address and get the value. So what should you do with the source operand? Who can give me the answer? What will be the instruction written in 111? Source contains R source out. Very good. IR source out. Then
MRN.
MARN.
very good. Very good. MARN. Why is it MARN? Because R source contains the address. You have to go to that address location and get the value. And then after you put it in MAR, then what instruction you should activate? What signal? What signal should you activate?
Read.
Read. Very good. Read should be activated. Okay. R source out. I hope this is complete. Yes. R source out. MARN. Read. So that will be the instruction present in 111 address location. Now, after that, what? You have given it to the, we have put it in MAR register. We have activated the read signal. Then in 112, what should we have? In 112, what should we have?
R destination out, Y in, then wait for memory function to complete.
Yes, R destination out, R destination out, RDST out, Y in. Very good. Then wait for memory function to complete. Now we are waiting for the memory function to complete. Then once the memory function is complete, we will have the first operand in. We will have the first operand in which register? From the memory, the value will be first written in which register? Come on, which register?
MDR out.
MDR register. Very good. So what you have to do, you have to read it from MDR register. So it should be MDR out. Then first operand is already there in Y. Second operand, once you read MDR, second operand will be available. Now what you have to give? So here you will have MDR out. You have to give the signal for add, isn't it? Select Y, then add. The result will be there in the Z register, Z in. Then the last instruction, what you have to do? What should you do?
Z out.
Z out.
Our destination in.
Very good. Z out, our destination in. Z out, our DST in. Okay. Now again, here. Here also, let me remind you, these address locations are going to change. Till this, is it clear to all of you? Writing micro instructions you are already familiar with. I have just additionally provided you the address locations where the micro instructions will be present. Okay, now listen carefully. I gave in the last class, I gave you one PDF. I asked you to be ready with that. Do you have it? Should I share it once more? Did I give it or not? Okay, please download this PDF. We'll be viewing that, or I'll share it also, because we have to refer multiple things, that's why. Anyways, okay, I'll share it. It's important you just download it and keep it for quick reference always. Okay, can you see it? Can anybody confirm if you can see this?
Yes, ma'am.
Whatever. Should I zoom it or is it fine?
Ma'am, it's fine, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is the complete flow of any type of add instruction you take. Okay, so first 4 instructions, the first 3 things which are common for any instruction you take. Then at 003 you have the micro branching instruction or the bit ORing operation, as I said, another name for that, bit OR operation. That is what this OR means here. It doesn't mean that it is an OR operation. It's bit OR means it's some logical operation. Okay, so this is, in other words, it's also called as micro branching. So based on the add operation, what type of addressing mode it is, you will branch off to different paths here. It could be register indirect. Register direct starts here because only few instructions are needed. So register direct starts here. Register indirect. Auto increment. Auto increment direct and indirect is also there. But even if it is direct or indirect, there are certain instructions which are common for any type of instruction, any type of micro instruction you take. So here, if it is auto increment, this position if it is auto decrement, this position if it is indexed addressing mode. So you look at these starting addresses. You can get these starting addresses from the same formula that I gave you in the presentation. IR10, IR9 and IR10 bar, IR9 bar, IR8. Okay. From those expressions, you can get the starting address. Just as we had derived the starting address for register direct and indirect, similarly, you can obtain the starting address for auto increment and auto decrement and indexed addressing mode. Okay, so here I'll explain you the flow of register indirect and register direct that we had already seen, and then I'll show you what is the actual difference and how is it actually implemented. Okay. So at 000, 001, 002, 003 also, This is same as what we have written. No change there. Then first consider it is the register direct. We jump to address location 101. Okay. So if it is register direct means the operand is directly available in the source register. So you read the source register, put it in Y. Then at address location 102, you are branching to some address 172. Now, why is it so? Is because, see, at 172, you have instruction, add the destination register content to whatever is there in Y and store it in Z. Now, this instruction, you can see it is common in any type of addressing mode you take. Ultimately, you will be adding the content of the destination register to Y. Okay, to the content of Y, you can add the content of destination register, and this content of Y can be obtained in different types of addressing mode, or the source operand can be obtained in different ways. You can finally add it to the content of destination register, and then the result will be stored in Z, and from Z you can read it to the you can put the result in the destination register. So no matter what addressing mode is, you can have slight modification in these addressing in the way the micro instructions are written, so that these instructions are common for all. Since these instructions are common for any type of add instruction, you can have it written commonly in one address location, and then you can have a micro branching that jumps off to that address location. Okay. So first thing, this is specific to the register direct addressing mode. Then you jump to address location 172. At 172, you have already this instruction is written. Our destination, you add our destination is already our destination out, add Z in. Okay, so the value that you had written in your this is why I wanted both. Can you guys keep the PDF open? If you have laptop and two screens, if you're having, it would be better, because I can show you the PPT and you can refer to the this PDF also. Is it okay? Can I switch to the PPT? Please download this PDF and keep it for reference. I'm switching. If anybody is having any problem, please do let me know. Okay, so at 101, you had written our source out, Y in. Okay, so that's what at 101 it is, our source out, Y in. Then at 102, you are having another micro branching. Micro branch to which address location? New PC, you are loading 172. This is how the program would look like. Micro program would look like. And at 172, what do we have? Our DST out, add selects Y, what? Add Z in. Okay. Then at 173, you will be having Z out, our destination in. This is 172. 172. Then at 173, you will be having okay. Is it clear? Is it clear, guys? got an idea why we are jumping to 172? Can anybody tell me why we are jumping to 172? I just want to know whether the idea is clear. Why we are jumping to 172? Yes, Srivatsan. Can you tell me why we are jumping to 172?
Ma'am, the addition and the continuous steps are common for all types of addition, ma'am. All types of addressing. So we have from
Yes.
172 to 172.
Yes. Okay. These instructions are common for any type of addressing mode you take. That is why we have written it in a common addressing location, so that after executing certain parts of that micro program, you can jump to that common address and execute the rest. Okay. Now, similarly, look at register indirect. Now look at the PDF. Go to register indirect. The way it is executed is slightly different from how we had actually projected it would look like. But since here also there are some common instructions as compared to the register direct, only thing is that additionally you are accessing one memory access is there in between extra. Rest of the steps are similar to that of the normal register add operation. So please refer to the PDF. Please switch to the PDF. Check the PDF and rewrite the micro instructions based on that address locations. So at 111, our source out, MAR in read. Then at 112, instead of fetching the destination operand, what we will do is we will branch to 171. In 171, we have another instruction, MDR out. Sorry, am I correct? Yes, waiting for memory function. Yes, at 112, you have branching to 171 and wait for memory function complete. Okay, then you branch off to 171 where MDR content is written into Y. So that the next two operations will be common. That is the only difference. In the way we had written, we were waiting for the first operand. In the meantime, we have taken the second operand and put it in Y. This is also a possible method of execution for the register indirect addressing mode. I don't say this is wrong, but if you write it in the way it is given in the PDF, then you can have some common instructions. Common instructions means you can store it in a common address location. Is it clear? That is why there will be a change in these instructions. Try to complete it. I won't write it. You have to write it on your own. Okay, register indirect. At 111, yes, Joshua, can you tell me the contents in address location 111 and 112, the micro instructions?
So after 112, we branched to
Yes,
170.
you tell me that you already have the PDF with you, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, look at the PDF.
Yes, ma'am.
Address locations are written there.
Yes, ma'am.
111, 112, etc. Look at 111. Look at that rectangular box and tell me how can you write the corresponding micro instruction for that?
That is our source out.
Very good.
MR in
Our source
read.
out, MAR in, then read.
Then
At 112,
112, we branch to 171 and then wait for memory function.
yes. So branching, you remember you write it as micro branch, okay?
Okay.
Yes. Then come to 171. What is it?
That would be MDR out
Very good.
YN.
Very good. Then at 172, what is it?
We would probably have to select Y.
Yes. Yes,
Then-
very good.
Then R destination out.
Yes.
Add
Add
Z in.
Z in. Very good. Then at 173,
Z out R destination in.
very good. End. Don't forget end.
Yes.
Very good. I hope similarly it is clear to all of you. Any doubt, anybody? Okay. So shall we move on to auto increment?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So we will have auto increment. It is there in direct as well as indirect. Now listen carefully. This may be slightly confusing. We will have a look at the auto increment. I'll then explain what is auto increment direct and indirect. Auto increment, coming back to this one. I hope you guys can see the slides. Increment means auto increment direct. Note it down if you want. Auto increment direct means register R1 will contain the address. You go to that address and fetch the value, then increment the content of R1 register. That's so that it points to the next address location. Now, if it is auto increment indirect, R1 will contain the address. That address location will again contain the address location. So you have to go to that address location, get the value, and that is to be added with R2, and the content of R1 will be incremented. Is it clear? 2 times bouncing, 2 times accessing the memory, that makes the auto increment indirect. You want me to repeat? Anybody wants me to repeat?
Yes, ma'am. Could you please repeat?
Yes. So auto increment direct means R1 will contain the address. From that address location, you will get the value. Okay, that is auto increment direct. Now, then you increment the content of R1 register. That is a part of your auto increment, whether it is direct or indirect, it is already there. Okay. Now, auto increment indirect means R1 will contain an address. You go to that address. That will again contain an address. Then you go to that address, then only you will get the data. Is that clear?
Yes, ma'am. And R1 is incremented.
Then R1 is incremented. Okay. Similarly with auto decrement also. Now coming to now you guys look at the PDF. I think I should share the PDF now. So wait a second, I'll share the PDF. Yes. Okay. I hope you guys can see. Now we will keep a track of auto increment. Okay. Now, so since it contains the address, so R source out, MAR in, read, then by the time you increment the content of R1 register or the R source register. Is this okay? So the starting address location, by this time you should know what is the starting address location, how to get the starting address location. That is 121 for auto increment. And I already showed you how to get that 121. You need not by heart anything. So here R source out, MAR in, read. In the meantime, you increment the content of source register. That is done in 2 address location. 122 will increment and put it back in the source register. Okay. Now you branch off to 170 and there is one more micro branching operation which at 170, if it is indirect operation, which bit in your IR register will be 1 no matter what addressing mode. If it is indirect, which bit should be 1? in your instruction register, which bit will be 1? In your instruction register, which bit will be 1 if it is an indirect addressing mode? IR?
3.
10 or 9 or 8?
8.
8. IR 8 will be equal to 1 if it is an indirect operation. So if you look at carefully at this instruction, you can see that it is not a simple branch instruction, but it is a conditional branch. You have to, I should not call it as a condition branch. It is a bitwise bit ORing operation is also included. Just as you did the bit ORing operation here, similarly, you first load mu PC with 170. You load mu PC with 170. You load mu PC. First, you load it with 170. Okay. Fine. IR 8. So, if it is indirect, you need one more memory access. Okay. If it is indirect, you need one more memory access. That is what is written in 170. If it is direct, you don't need that second memory access. You can directly come to MDR out. Okay. If it is direct, you should come here. If it is indirect, you should come to 170. So what should be the value of mu PC? Which bit? 3. Mu PC 3. What should be the value of mu PC 3? Not mu PC 3, isn't it? It should be mu PC 0. What should be the value of mu PC 0? If it is direct, what should be the value of mu PC 0? Where should we jump to? Already 170 is loaded. Now you are bitwise changing based on whether it is direct or indirect condition. Now instruction register, 8th bit indicates whether it is direct or indirect. Okay. I hope this much is clear. Now first you load 170 into the mu PC. Then you check the 8th bit of instruction register. Based on that, you decide whether to jump directly to 170 or to 171. Now, tell me this one. When will you jump to 170? In case of direct or indirect? When will you jump to 170? At least tell me when it is direct or indirect.
Indirect.
In case of indirect, very good. In case of indirect, you have to jump to 170 because you have to access one memory once more. Then you jump to 170. If it is direct, you jump to 171. So if it is indirect, mu PC 0th bit should be what? Look at 170. You have to jump to 170. So what should be the mu PC 0th bit value? 0 or 1? 0 or 1? You have to jump to 170. 170 is already loaded. Now mu PC 0th bit is what you have to manipulate in order to decide between 170 or 171, isn't it? 170 in binary would be 001, 111, 000. Okay, so between 170 and 171, there is only a 1 bit change. 1 bit change is your mu PC 0th bit, isn't it? Mu PC 0th bit is the only bit which is changing between 170 and 171. So if it is direct, you have to jump to 171. If it is indirect, you have to jump to 170. So if it is direct, what should be the value of mu PC 0?
One.
Yes, mu PC 0 should be 1. So what formula should be loaded into mu PC 0? Based on your 8th bit in instruction register. If it is direct, you should load 1. If it is indirect, you should load 0. Can you relate it to IR and tell me what should I do with IR? Can I directly connect it to the 0th bit? Load it directly to the 0th bit?
We can use a NOT operation.
Yes. So it should be IR8 bar. So in new PC0, you should load IR8 bar. Okay. So if it is indirect, you will jump to 170, where once more the whatever is the content of MDR will be put in MAR register, and you give the read operation, wait for memory function to complete. Okay. Here you have already done one read operation, memory read operation. If it is indirect, you do one more memory read operation, then only you will get the operand. If it is direct, one memory read is enough. You jump to 171, MDR will contain the value which is to be added. You put it in Y, read the destination, add it with Y, store it in Z, Z out, our destination in end. Is it clear? Now, who is going to convert it into micro instructions? Let me call out somebody. Should I call Sneha? Are you there? Sneha, are you there? Quickly, you finish it, then the session is over. No response from Sneha. Harini, are you there? Why nobody is responding? Jason. Jason. It's okay if you make mistakes because it's fine. At least give it a try. You already have the PDF, you just have to read it out from that. Please don't remain silent. Please do try to answer it. Somebody, please. Gokul Krishna. I'm just reading out names. Nobody is responding. So bad. At least come up, speak up and say whether you're ready or not. Nobody. I'll keep on calling names. Adi Selvi. Naganandini. Am I speaking to myself? I am seriously doubting that. Nobody. Oh. Why is it so you guys are not speaking up? It's so bad. Please, I've called out so many names. Any one of you, if you are listening, please unmute and speak. It's so bad of you that you are behaving like this. You already have the PDF with you. You just have to read it from that. That's it. Count is also decreasing drastically. Very nice. This is the after this, the session is over. You want this to continue? I can sit and make it extend till 4 o'clock. I don't have any problem. Akash K. Is it some sort of a game you guys are playing? I don't understand. Is it so? Any responsible person in this class, can you just speak up?